Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome back to CG Productions. This is your boy CG, and this is part 3 of the DXL versus the L22 versus the LX. These are great microphones altogether, regardless of which one you get. Let's start with the mic modeling itself. Not everyone can do a great job at modeling something else, especially when it comes to microphones, and like it's been attempted several times. When it comes to audio equipment, I want simplicity. I don't want anything extra. The one thing that I love about the universal audio mic modeling system is it's just a microphone. Like the rest of it's software. I don't want anything else that I have to connect to this to make it work. What does this do to the industry? Where does it sit in the world of microphones now? What does it do to the microphone world? Is that gonna just make it where manufacturers don't make microphones anymore? And I think the answer to that is absolutely not. And the reason I say that is this microphone, I would say, would be great for people with small to like medium setups. Even in the professional realm, it has its place. When it comes to this microphone in particular, you start to get into real estate and how much it costs to actually have this microphone. You look at it and you say, well, this is a cheaper microphone than a lot of the microphones that it emulates. It's not when you get to the professional realm. For my studio, it works perfect because I don't have a lot of instruments. I don't have a lot of, I don't have multiple singers. I don't have all these multiple things going on. But in the professional world, when you're talking about taking up 2 channels, that's expensive. Taking up 2 channels is great if you're recording vocals over something that you've already recorded. But when you have things like bands and stuff that are recording live, unless that's on drums where you would have 2 microphone sources in the first place or something like that, like you don't want to take up that type of real estate on an analog or hybrid mixing console, because that's a lot of money just for that microphone to take up 2 channels of that console. So that would be where I would say it's not gonna destroy the industry as far as like microphones, because this is more for us guys who have not necessarily a huge studio facility. That's my thoughts on that. As far as the microphones themselves, again, we got the OG Townsend Labs. It's a great microphone. If this will never be made again, and if you got a chance to get one of the original DXL or original Townsend Labs L22 Spher microphones, I mean, I think it's something to hold on to. But I think that Universal Audio really did a great job with the partnership and acquiring. It was just the smartest move. It was the smartest move. And I'm going to put a clip in here of an interview. This interview took place, I believe, in 2019. I actually had the chance to interview Eric Pack. The LX was, I think, a smart idea. This competes in that sub $1,000 range. I feel like that's the range where, you know, when you're starting out, you're trying to find what microphone works for you, and you're trying to find it at the cheapest price. This is what you need to get. You need to get the LX. If you're just starting out in audio and you're starting recording, you need to get the LX or get the DLX, which makes the most sense for any beginner because it gives you kind of a sense of what these microphones sound like. And again, like the accuracy of the emulations are kind of between 2 of the same microphones. Now, who are these microphones for when you're looking at the DLX and the LX, or what is this for? I would say 100%, like if you're recording just vocals, that's your primary thing, probably some instruments and stuff, a few instruments or whatever. This is what you go to. If you need like I'm trying to get a condenser microphone for vocals specifically, the LX is where it's at. It competes with the other 2. It's just not as versatile as the other 2. Now the DLX is gonna be, it's gonna be the most when it comes to versatility. this is going to be where you want to go, because it's going to cover more of the spectrum, and you're going to get that full spectrum with this microphone. The LX seems to suffer a little on the low end. It seems to be a little bit more tight in the mid-range, so it can be a little bit more punchy, which it could work for certain applications. But in general, most people that I would talk to or that wants to know about microphones, they're looking specifically for recording vocals. And I actually had a family member ask me, like, you know, what do I think is the best microphone to get? And what I say on here is my true, honest opinion. No, like, I don't do reviews on things that I don't like. Everything that I do a review on, I still use, I keep, and I plan to continue to use. It's not just because it's this thing, because I bought this one. This is actually, yeah, that's it. Yeah, they look the same. But I bought this one. So that was before any of this, sponsoring or anything like that. It doesn't make sense to try to go through and spend all that money to try to find what works for you when you can just narrow it down and get to working quicker. And these are things, when I first started recording, that I didn't have the opportunity to even go to a recording studio, and thinking about, even if I did, like, spending that much money in the studio versus buying everything I need for my own studio kind of made more sense for me to do it myself. You have to capitalize on information these days, because I've spent a lot. I've invested a lot. And there's very few things that I've gotten rid of, but there was a point in time where I really wanted to go all analog. I had Millennia Media Origin preamps, had 2 of those. I had a lot of different things, and I just got rid of all that because I travel a lot. I move around. So if I'm going to be moving around or anything like that, I need to be able to still record. I don't want to feel like I have to come to the studio just to record. I want to be able, if I feel something in the moment or whatever it is, if I go somewhere, something inspires me, I want to be able to record. And I feel like in that case, professional or beginner or otherwise, like, that's a great microphone to do that with. If you don't have a recording studio and you're just recording in a hotel room or your bedroom or wherever it may be, So to wrap all this up, man, like, it was I had a great time just working through these microphones and figuring out what they do and how they work. And there's one more thing that I want to mention, and that's the microphone that I'm on right now. This is the SD1 from Universal Audio. Now, when they sent me this microphone, even on the box here, there's nothing that says that it emulates anything. I later found out while I'm doing this review and everything, that this microphone and all their standard line of microphones that Universal Audio has, they actually emulate microphones as well. So these are Sphere, these are Hemisphere. So they have something that looks like drum mics, and then they have a condenser mic. I got the podcast one because I also have a podcast channel, The Back Room. Check that out. They also have that range of things covered as well. So if you can't get into the $700-800 range, these are like $300 or $400. With that said, you still have, like, Universal Audio has covered the spectrum. So they have their standard mics, they have the LX, and then they have the DLX. So they've covered everything. So you can get into this. Even again, it makes sense to go the Universal Audio way when it comes to trying to figure out what type of microphone works for you. And start with something like their standard microphone, their standard condenser microphone, and work your way up if you needed to, based off of what you figure out from that. I haven't tested their condenser, which I don't know if I might end up requesting that, because that'd be interesting to me to kind of compare the hemisphere with the Sphere microphones and see, like, because I know nothing about that. I haven't even researched it or anything like that, so I don't know anything about that. I just know that they do emulate them, and that kind of surprised me, because I was like, I had this boxed up for a while and I didn't know. The first video I didn't record with this microphone, but part 2 was recorded with this microphone. Part 1 was recorded on the Sennheiser 416. That kind of wraps everything up for me, guys. I'm gonna continue to work with these microphones. I got some other things that are gonna come up. I know things are kind of slow motion on my page, and yes, we are at 1,000 subscribers finally. I do have a lot of content planned. The channel, I feel like I am gonna break it up some, because my last video, I believe, was a video of my CNC machine, and I think that I'm gonna just dedicate CNC and 3D printing all to itself, and dedicate audio and film strictly to the CG production page. And then I got some other things coming up for, like, fitness channel. We've got the podcast, the back room. I do a lot of things. I have fun doing them. So, like, now I just want to film. Me and my brother, we might actually start we actually have it. We haven't started doing any videos yet, but we're also going to have a fishing channel, because I like to go fishing. We're going to try to do some kayaking this summer. So I'm looking forward to that, and that's going to be fun, actually film going out and enjoying life. And but appreciate you guys for hanging in with me. This is the Townsend Labs L22 Universal Audio DXL versus the Universal Audio LX, and I'm out. How did the whole Townsend's Lab microphone come up?
Well, really, my co-founder Chris Townsend is the inventor of the technology, and had the technology and the microphone fairly well worked out before we ever met. A friend of ours, Dino Varela, decided that Chris should be connected with me. And I guess for about a year on my commute and kind of in between spaces on things, Chris would pick my brain any chance he got, and some opportunity worked out and opened up for me to start consulting a little bit for Chris. And this is before there was a Townsend Labs. There was a good microphone and software product being developed, and we were working together to see what the opportunities might be to license it or have somebody else run with the vision. And as you can imagine, microphone companies don't necessarily always have a software arm or that sort of mindset. Through a number of conversations, there seemed to be a really interesting opportunity available, but just nothing happened in that direction. And so after working with him for about a year, the decision was reached that a company should be started, and we should bring it to the market on our own. So we did. We formed Townsend Labs together, and did plenty of development to bring the product the rest of the way, the hardware product itself, and announced the product to the world, and started actually a crowdfunding campaign in late 2016.